And I don't know if you guys saw, but he was just released on bail. It got lowered by the judge to, I say, 250,000. So what do you guys think?
Me personally, I actually just talked to my brother about this about 4 days ago, and I see that a lot of people, because I actually live in Texas, so I see a lot of it, and a lot of people are trying to make it a black and white thing, and me personally, I don't believe it's a black and white thing. To me, I think it's a parenting thing. And because I have a son, I think that it's a bigger issue that we don't want to dive deep into, because I see these things personally because I'm so close to it. It's right down the road from us, you know. So I see it. It's not a black and white thing. It's a parenting thing to me.
Y'all think he should be free?
Nope, not at all.
I don't think he should be free. And I think it's sad to see that the Black community is kind of like rallying behind, a lot of these Black boys' innocence in the media right now, just off the strength of like, well, he did it in the past, or this white man got off in the past, so they need to just let them off because, an eye for an eye and it's time. And it's just like, we need to be real. Like, this was a crime. It was a murder. He quite literally lost his emotions so much so that he stabbed another boy. Like, I think it's like, that's extreme. That's like extreme. And I don't think people are understanding how extreme that is. Like,
but I also think that mental health needs to come into play here. I think that I don't think that the school system at all focuses on the children's mental health. So when they snap and when they don't have the proper tools to regulate their emotions, it's just like, oh, what happened? But this happens often. Kids are bullied and bullied and bullied and bullied. And then they talk to counselors and they talk to principals and they talk to teachers and there's no avail. And now we come to the place where someone's lost their life, which is very unfortunate. Yes, he should be prosecuted, but there's a bigger lesson there for the majority of kids who deal with this often.
What about the bigger picture of, like Carson said, the parenting? I don't necessarily put it back on the schools. It's the parenting. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you teach your children, character, discipline, and teaching them not to act out of impulse, it's not really on the school.
For clarity, I wasn't saying it's on the schools. It's absolutely on the parents, but I'm saying the school has your children for a good percentage of the time. So there's still responsibility there, is what I'm saying.
Now, also in that case, it's not necessarily acting up impulse, right? If you're being bullied by somebody constantly, and it's not like, okay, I have a knife on me and I just randomly stab you. Like, it's something that's building up over time that's causing this person to react in this way. So you have to think about it deeper than that. It's not just like this,
Is this some new information? Is this some new information that I'm not familiar with that y'all are familiar with about this whole bullying narrative? Where'd y'all get that from?
Yeah, to me, I didn't hear anything about bullying, but what I do know is this is not his first time bringing a knife to another area with other children. So if this isn't his first time doing it, why didn't the parents know he had a knife on him?
Well, I'm not going to say why didn't the parents know, because all of us did plenty of shit that our parents probably never found out about. So
that's the problem.
No, that's not the problem. That's what children do. Like, we do shit. Like, we all did shit that our parents probably never found out. Are you telling me that your parents was familiar with everything that you did when you was
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that is actually what the problem is. We, as in this generation now, we see that parents want to be friends with their children instead of parenting their children. And I believe that parents should be tighter on their children, where they're at, where they're going. They're standing out at anybody's houses. So if you're just going to anybody's houses, you never even met the parents. So why are you letting your children stand out at people's houses you never even met before?
Listen. I don't believe that. All right, let's set the precedent. Man, I was sneaking out the house when I was fucking 11, 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents didn't have full control over me. And it wasn't that there was bad parents. It's just that I was out of fucking control. I was bad. So I mean, you know, I was raised in a church. I was told what I was supposed to do. I knew better. I knew right from wrong. I was bad. So, you know, I don't know how old your kid is, but we try to put into them when we're young, you know, when they're young, the morals, the principles, the guidance, or whatever. And I do understand that our culture, the schools, the music, all of that stuff plays a huge role in what we do, but we don't know his parents to just 100% hold them accountable yet. I think that we have to give a little bit of grace and wait and get all of the details, get all of the facts before we just automatically condemn the parents. Should the parents hold a level of responsibility? 100%, because it's still a kid at the end of the day. So the
That's
kids,
my point.
no, everybody gonna be held accountable. Listen, I'll tell you what, the parents' life is gonna be completely transformed. They're never gonna be normal again. Everybody's lives is gonna be messed up from here on out. That goes without saying. But I don't think that we should just rush to judgment with things that we don't know. I think that the biggest thing is that we got to speak from the perspective of what we do know. Now, I'm not familiar with any bullying. I didn't get any facts. I don't know anything about that. That's number one. But number two, I think that it was premeditated. You don't just carry knives to events, sit on the opposing team side, and then say, touch me and see what happens. I don't believe that is just completely innocent and it's just all based off of defending yourself. I don't see that. I think that we've all had situations that was uncomfortable, whether it be people at your job or whether it's when you was younger or whatever. Like, that's called life. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to be able to avoid somebody that puts you in an uncomfortable position, but life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. And he's old enough. That boy was old enough to be situationally aware of what he was about to do and what he was getting himself into, to where you got to pay for that. And even if we feel a certain type of way, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I believe, based off of what was being presented and based off of the documents and stuff that I've read, it don't look good. Even if he doesn't get 25 to life or something crazy, right? Because I don't want the boy to go to jail for the rest of his life. But reality is we have laws in place, and it's possibility that he could be charged as an adult, which he probably will. And he'll probably be better off taking a plea deal, or else he's going to probably spend the majority of his life in jail. And he a young boy. And so he going to be going to jail and prison with a bunch of monsters and men that probably looking at him as food. And it's an unfortunate situation. And so we not teaching, or we not having a conversation about being situationally aware. We're looking at it from the lens of how we feel from other events in the past and letting that inform us on how to deal with this situation, when in reality, the kids is the ones that's going to have to pay the price for it. So for me, I just think it's a tragedy all the way around. The other family lost the kid, and he died in his twin brother's arms. That shit should have never happened. He over there, you know what I'm saying, bringing knives to school, and, you know, getting to the point to where he stabbed. I mean, I could have never imagined stabbing somebody when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not bringing no knife to school.
But Anton, you said you was bad. That's a lot different than, but you said you were bad. And that's not the same as a child presented signs of like being murderous. Those are completely different.
How do we know that he presented signs of being murderous?
His parents knew.
How do you know that?
But is he like a murderous child?
Hold on, wait. How do y'all know that his parents knew?
So just one day your child wakes up and they kill people.
How do you know? No, come on. No. How do y'all know that his parents knew?
I think whether the parents knew.
How do y'all know? How do y'all know?
Some parents don't be caring about their kids now.
No. Some parents do care, and they don't know what the fuck they know until they know it. How do y'all know that the parents exhibited murderous signs? No, hold on. What are the signs of a murderous child?
Killing animals, being bad.
So he's killed an animal before. I mean, y'all gotta have what I'm saying.
Fighting, depression.
I gotta be honest. I don't think you know, it's just on the parents. I think, you know, there's a lot of contributing factors. It could really be, in my opinion, it's more cultural than anything else. Yes. But I mean, you just said yourself, Anton, you could never imagine stabbing somebody in high school. So there has to be some sort of escalation. It's not like listen.
If
he
those
woke
are
up
the
one morning,
signs,
it's like, I'm gonna choose to
If those are the signs of a murderous child, then lock up the whole fucking community.
I was about to say,
every last one of those things, I could probably tell you that everybody that I ran into in the hood,
it's about
back in the
awareness.
day, they all exhibited the same signs. Just lock us all up and just go ahead and throw away the key.
To me,
it's not
I don't
about
think
locking
it's
them
rather.
up. It's about prevention. If there's no,
but how do you prevent something like this? Like say the parents did know about the bullying aspect. How would you know as a parent that my child is getting bullied, and in the moment of heightened emotions in a fight or whatever happened, that he's gonna stab and ultimately murder another child? Like, how do you know something like that?
these are open-ended questions. We don't have any definites, but I'm saying that's your job as a parent to know. Who else's job is it?
Delay, sorry.
I think that one day, I don't know how old y'all children are, but I want y'all to stand 10 toes down on this when y'all kids get old enough to make decisions for themselves, and they 14, 15, 16 years old, and you trying to figure that shit out. Like everybody know until they don't know.
But didn't you just say yourself that the child should have been situationally aware? Who teaches him that?
What do you mean?
Who teaches the children how to be situationally aware?
Everything that's going on. Listen, I'll tell you this, for example. It didn't matter how much church that I was in, because I was in a culture and in an environment that, and I'm not going to blame it on that culture and an environment, because I like to take responsibility and ownership, but two things can be true at the same time, and I say this all the time. I was in a culture and an environment, from the music that I listened to the schools that I went to, which was one of the reasons why my parents snatched me out of the school that I was in and threw me in a private school to get me back on track. But I was absolutely influenced by every fucking thing that was happening around me. Y'all act like, listen, y'all act like, and this is crazy to me, because I think that he should be held accountable for his actions. But like I said, I think that we need to look at the nuance in this situation. Y'all act like y'all was saints when y'all was growing up, based off of what y'all parents taught y'all and what y'all told, and y'all didn't do nothing.
Not saints.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you that he should be.
Maybe I was a saint.
I was not a saint.
Were y'all?
I was not a saint.
I mean, I was a good kid.
That didn't even cross my mind.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree that he should be held accountable. But what I'm saying is, again, I point out again, you even just said that your parents took you out of that situation. Parents.
Because I was blessed.
You had good parents.
No.
What about the kid that doesn't have parents?
To make the sacrifice to spend an extraordinary amount of money to send me and my brother to private school for 2 years. That's an anomaly. That's not something that's normal. Most parents don't have $10,000, $12,000 a year per child at that time, which is different than the amount of this time, to be able to take their kid out of school and send them to private school.
But let's take it away from money. Let's say we don't have any money, right? Let's take money out of it, right? Is the parent's job to do everything in their power to give their child the opportunity and put them in the best position, whether it's money involved or not?
Absolutely.
So money is irrelevant.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of a phenomenal parent and a rebellious child?
Yeah, of course.
So at what point do we also add nuance into the conversation? Because I know that in this situation, everything is black and white. At what point do we add nuance, or at the very least wait and see what happens, or what additional details come out, so that we then can make an assessment instead of automatically condemning the parents in addition to the child?
No. So I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just adding to the fact that because he is under the age, he's still in high school, right? Mm-hmm. He's still a child in my eyes. A child.
No, he's not.
He is.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, Carson? Because I don't know you.
Yes, sir.
When did you lose your virginity?
When I was 17.
Is that your parents' fault?
No.
Why not? You was still a child, right?
Of course.
Why is that not your parents' fault that you lost your virginity at 17 when you were still a child?
Because I'm the one who did it. But at the end of the day,
wait. You can't say it for him and then it not be applicable for you.
No, I was about to say, but if I really, really wanted to delve about it, I could say it was their fault because they didn't pay attention to me the way that
You
they
didn't
should have.
say it was their fault. You said it wasn't their fault. I don't go by what you could say. I go by what you said. You said it wasn't your parents' fault. It was your responsibility. You removed the responsibility from your parents because you were 17 and you knew what it felt and you did what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. So how is it any different in this situation? So you can condemn him and hold his parents accountable for the sins that he committed, which he should be held accountable. And there is a level of responsibility that's on the parents, but then you removed your own parents from it because it's you though, right?
No. That's what
What
I
do you
just
mean?
said.
You said he was a child, but you was also a child, but you did what you wanted to do when you removed your parents from the responsibility, right?
No, I just said if I really had to delve into it, I would say that it was my parents.
That's not what you said.
I just
You gotta
corrected
stand
myself.
on what you said.
I am. I just corrected myself.
Oh, no, so you corrected yourself because I brought correlation between both situations, and now it sounds crazy what you're talking about.
No, it doesn't sound crazy. I'm just telling you that's if I really wanted to dive deep into it, I could say it's my parents' fault. Yes.
We diving deep, ain't we?
Yeah, I'm just saying that. Yeah, exactly. So if I wanted to dive into it, yes, it is my parents' fault because they should have paid attention to me more. But
okay, so all right, so
Can
no, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So now it's your parents' fault that you was fucking at 17, right? Now, what could they have done to pay more attention to you to remove your dick out of that pussy that you hit?
so for example, if it was myself, right? If I'm the parent, I would do everything in my power to make sure my children.
No. What could your parents have done differently to
Made
prevent
sure-
you from fucking on that chick in high school?
Made sure that if my parents were together, because I didn't have two parents, I have one
Mhm.
parent. So if my parents were together, they should have did everything in their power to make sure I didn't have sex until I was married.
Okay, so if your parents were together, all right, so did you go and hold them accountable once you became a man?
Did I hold them accountable for what?
For having sex out of wedlock and having sex when you was too young.
No, after I became an adult, no, because now I'm an adult. So it's not the
So
same.
you didn't hold them accountable.
When I became an adult, no, because I'm an adult.
Did you ever hold them accountable when you was a child or when you was adult?
No, when you're in your adolescence, you don't understand those things.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed at. I think that we need to extend grace because none of us we didn't do the shit that we were supposed to do, but we never held our parents accountable for it because we knew what we was doing. We knew what we was doing. And I think that people need to wait until the rest of the evidence come out. Is he being held accountable? Absolutely. Should he be held accountable? 100%. But I think that we're doing things or we're having conversations based off of what is ideal versus what we actually believed and how we lived our lives.
Yeah,
That's
but
all I'm saying.
I don't know, Anton.
I think it's a projection.
I think that people are being just not understanding. Like some certain things have came out. Like for one, he has two active parents in his life. For two, social media is prevalent among teenagers today. He has a social media and he has pictures of him, posing with guns with his friends and things like that. I don't think that his parents didn't know that was on Instagram. For Karmelo's Instagram, there was pictures and screenshots surfacing of his Instagram page and certain photos and things that he had on his page, and that's the perception of why certain people are painting him a certain type of way. And I don't believe that his parents didn't know.
Wait, hold on. Did you see his Instagram, Cam?
Well, it's down when I tried to look.
So you don't even know if it's true what other people is putting out there, right?
That part.
Again, because I don't deal in theory. In this situation that is somebody's life and death, we can't assume. We gotta know.
Well, but that's the whole point of the public opinion, though. Right, but we're not gonna know 100% until the documents and everything come out. But what I'm saying is people, right? But what I'm saying is people are comparing pictures online of the white boy with hunting rifles, and then comparing the photo of Karmelo and his friends with a gun, saying what's the difference? But there is a difference because there's a difference between somebody going hunting with their family and somebody posing with AR-15s and assault rifles just for fun with their friends.
I agree with you. I don't disagree with that at all.
And that's all I'm
I agree
saying.
100%.
I just think people are trying to blend it just because it's a sad thing. Like, two things can be true. It can be a very sad situation, but I don't think it's what people are making it out to be. I don't think it's what people are trying to make it. That's all.
I agree with you 100%. I think,
and I think that down the line, when kids get accolades, when kids graduate, when kids are prestigious and they've accomplished things, then parents take ownership for that. Parents get applause for that. But when kids end up here, it's like, well, you can't blame the parents. Can't blame the parents. Of course you can blame the parents. Of course
that's not what we said. What I said was, that's not what I said. I said we need to take into consideration how we were when we were younger, right? And we need to wait and see what the rest of the context is and the evidence before jumping to conclusion to condemn somebody when we don't know the full details.
Well, we can't condemn anyone.
But you're jumping to the conclusion that he's innocent.
Anyone. But what I'm saying is, from the clip when we're reacting, what I'm saying is, whether he's convicted or whatever the outcome may be, no matter what, the parents are still going to have accountability. It doesn't matter.
Facts, but it does. But we still need to wait and see everything that comes out.
Of course.
But we're all assuming right now, to be fair. Like, we're all basically making assumptions based off of, like, our own personal.
But no, we're not assuming, because we know that somebody got stabbed. We know that he died in his brother's arms. We know that he brought a knife to school. We know that he was sitting in the opposite team's place and all of that stuff. That's the stuff that we know.
When you say it like that, it sounds like he's super guilty. Like, when you say it like that, it sounds like he knew what he was doing and he was super guilty from that perception.
Listen. You change it. You're moving the goalposts every time. First, you said that we assuming, and I said, well, there are some things that we know. Then you saying, well, based off of what you're saying, maybe he's guilty. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. What I'm saying is he's going to be held accountable regardless of how we feel about it. But all of the other nuance and the details, I don't understand why we automatically condemn when it's applicable for us, but it's not applicable for them.